Hey everyone, my name is Caleb Honchell. I'm a gaffer and key grip here in the Northwest Arkansas region and wanted to talk today. Hopefully this will be a brief video. I feel like I always say that, but they always tend to be like 10-minute videos. Wanted to talk today about this fire effect that I was just trying out. This is kind of in preparation for a longer form indie feature that I'm gonna be gaffing for. So just wanted to try a few things out. It's a period piece, so we're gonna be doing, a lot of natural daylight. For interiors, it's natural daylight through windows, and then for like exterior nights and interior nights, it's gonna be gas lanterns and campfires. And so wanted to just kind of try a few things out. I haven't done campfires a whole lot, to be honest. I've done them several times in the past, but wanted to, kind of just get in here and try a few things out to see what works well. This is kind of what I settled on as what I'd like to do. It's kind of always a time permitting kind of thing and manpower permitting kind of thing, but this is an interesting setup that I came up with here. Thought I'd just sit down, shoot a video on it, super simple. Let me get my phone up and I will do a little multicam BTS type stuff here. So this first light we have here, this is all Nanlite stuff. So this is the Pavotube 30X. And you can see this is running a pixel effect. And I've got the color Kelvin set to 4000 and then the actual pixel in there. So this is channel 5 on my fingerprinty iPad. So the pixel is 3000 and then the CCT of the background is 4000. Obviously you can change that. I think I'm gonna leave it right there for the time being. So that's this tube here. And then we have a second tube and this is without a diffuser. Forgot to mention this is just a pool noodle diffuser. So this one is without a diffuser and it's actually bouncing up into these two pieces of beadboard or foam board. I don't think this isn't really beadboard, this is foam board. This one is just the standard white that it comes with, and this is this has some unbleached muslin on it that my wife put on there for me. And I wanted to do that to get a little bit of color contrast. I feel like just doing those little things might help sell the effect a little bit better. So this light is bouncing up into these two guys, a little bit of color difference there as you can see, and then we have this guy. So this is a Nanlite Pavo Slim. So this is at a 3200 base Kelvin, and then you can see the CCT shift. I have it just set to 500 Kelvin. It could be anything though. I doubt on a little bit of magenta because it seemed a touch green to me. And then the dim, it's very, very low. This Pavo Slim is just kind of a camera wrap, essentially. This is more my key world here. And then I also have a little bit of moonlight on the top here, which that's what that looks like. It's probably a little bit hot. Let me dial that back down a little bit. Yeah, that's probably more in the realm of where we need to be. So that's 27%. It was at like 55, I want to say. But yeah, the main thing is the candle fire or the campfire fire that I wanted to focus on. And let's look at the rigging really quick. So again, gonna do a little multicam stuff here. So this is a Babysitter by Matthews. It has these two slots that baby plates can fit into. And then you just do gobo heads and you can use the, Cardellini's or whatever clamp you want. I just use the T12 tube clamps that come with the Nanlites for these guys. And then that's just, C-stands, nothing fancy there. Same thing over here, so Babysitter and then baby plate, and then same thing, just a grip head and then an arm up. So I've kind of taken to doing the beaver boards and the low C-stands indoors much more often than I used to. I used to just always just grab a full C-stand, but I find that the beaver boards and the short C-stands are really, really helpful as far as getting lights where you need them to be, especially really exclusively indoors. Outdoors, you're going to want to use a full C-stand or, ideally probably a combo stand to keep up with the terrain. But that's all I'll say about that. Let's go ahead and turn all these lights off. So I'm going to turn off my field and turn this guy off. So this is what it looks like with nothing. Let's turn on my backlight. I'm nice and silhouette-y. The bounce board lights, let's turn that on. So that is what that is looking like. Ideally, I'd probably floppy this a little bit to keep it off the background a little bit more. I'm just in my garage, obviously, so it doesn't matter too much. And this is kind of a quick setup, so that's kind of what I would do to improve that. Let's go ahead and turn my key light on, if you will. So this is kind of my up light, if you will, my Pixel Tube Chase key light, and then down here we have my Pavoslim. So this is my fill. So let's turn off just to get an idea. Let's see, turn that off, turn that off. So this is with just my Campfire Pixel key light, if you will. And this is it in, oops, that's Moonlight. And this is it in conjunction with the Moonlight and the bounce light as well. So I really do think that the bounce light sells it quite a bit more, even if it's, you know, if it's subtle, it's a little bit more ambient, it really sells it. And then I do think it's always smart if you're gaffing, or it's always smart to have a nice, you know, quick key light, or I should say camera fill light for your DP in case he or she asks for it. The only other thing I might add to this is perhaps a little bit of an eye light. So if, you know, if the character isn't facing this way all the time, if he or she is facing this way, you might just have like a little, you know, DMG dash or Aputure MC just to have as an eye light. So if they look somewhere else, even though there's no light coming from that way, you can kind of, you know, put a little dot in their eye. But for the most part, this should probably take care of it. And that's pretty much the setup. Really, really simple. Hope this was helpful. I do want to talk really quick about the app because I could have run this all off CRMX. As a matter of fact, let me go get my box real quick. So this is a CRMX transmitter box. This one's made by Ratpack. For those of you that don't know, CRMX is a feature that's built into a lot of lights nowadays. So everything here could be run off CRMX, and it's a wireless protocol from the 90s. Actually. So it's a little bit archaic in its design, but a lot of manufacturers have come up with ways to really make the most of it. And it's probably the most reliable way to control lights. So I would say, you know, in testing and using this on set, you can reliably get a DMX signal from the iPad to the transmitter box and then transmitting to your lights. You can reliably get a signal out past 100 yards with this box in particular. I've only had this for a couple months at this point, and so I'm definitely still a noob at it. I mainly, you know, I don't use it as much for like cueing and lighting effects and things like that. I mainly just use it to have a good, you know, solid remote control system. The Bluetooth apps are really good, but the thing that always really bugged me about them is they would always, you know, disconnect and then you had to reconnect them. Sometimes they would just refuse to work. This has been really consistent for me. It has been really easy to set up and use as somebody who, again, is definitely a noob at this kind of a thing. So all that being said, I am using the Bluetooth app with this, and there's a couple reasons for this. One, this is mainly, the CRMX stuff, the DMX stuff is mainly for, in my opinion, in my experience so far at least, is for when lights are a little bit more spread out, or you have a lot of lights in studio and you need to do them all like on one cue. So you need every single light that you have rigged to go to purple or pink and then back to blue and then fade up and down and all this kind of stuff. So I could have run everything off of CRMX here. I chose the app, and the reason for that is there's different tools for different jobs. If you can keep your iPad or your phone, whichever you're using, in close proximity to your lights, I think the Bluetooth apps are a really good option, honestly, because they make the lighting effects and the parameter adjustment of those lighting effects much simpler and much easier than trying to do it all on DMX. You definitely can do it on DMX, and so if you're gaffing a show with a board op, that board op is going to probably create you know, custom lighting effects based off the color profiles. So it definitely can be done, but in a pinch, the Bluetooth apps work really well. They really do. And Nanlites in particular, I am very, very impressed. I want to shout out Nanlite. Not that it really, you know, not that they really care about me or anything, but they have really done a phenomenal job with their app. The 2.0 NanLink app is just really phenomenal, very reliable in everything that I've tested with it. You can do, you know, your pixel effects, your lighting effects, all very, very easily and quickly, which is kind of the name of the game when it comes to indie filmmaking. And so that is kind of a very, very brief overview of Bluetooth versus CRMX and DMX. It's great to have both. DMX and CRMX is a little bit more cost prohibitive to get into, I would say. This box, I want to say, is $800 or $900 with shipping. The Bluetooth apps typically come with the lights, or they're free download, and then you can use them in conjunction with your lights. So DMX and CRMX is more cost prohibitive because then you have to either buy a physical board, you have to buy the transmitter, or you have to buy the license to an app like Blackout, which is what I use. But not to speak ill of the Bluetooth apps. Like I said, they do have their place as long as they're nice and functional, which the NanLink really is. I'm not going to mention names of other apps or other companies that do the same thing, but just much, much worse. But they are out there. The NanLink app is really phenomenal. And honestly, it's one of the reasons that I initially went with Nanlite products. I do have Aputure, I do have other brands. I was doing these indie films and I was doing commercials where the lights, were up in the ceiling, or they were, were to places that I couldn't reach. And I just began to realize, like, I really need a way to control these things quickly and efficiently, because I didn't always have a big G&E team. And I still don't, you still get those jobs where it's you, a swing, and then a key grip and a grip, or even less. The indie film that we're about to do is a 3-person G&E team. And so I really value that, just being able to quickly dim lights, quickly, change color temperature of lights nowadays. It's really phenomenal, and I'm very impressed with the work that not only Nanlite's doing. Nanlite has impressed me the most, but also, companies like Aputure, and other companies as well. I think that's all I have to say about this. How do you guys, going back to the fire thing, so that was kind of a side tangent, but going back to the fire thing, how do you guys like to light fire? Do you use 2 lights? Do you just use one through like a diffusion frame or a softbox or something? Let me know how you guys like to do fire. Give me your tips and tricks, what you've learned over the years. And what do you guys think of the Bluetooth stuff versus the CRMX stuff? Do you guys have experience with either or? What's your preference? What have you found out in the field works best for you? Let me know your thoughts. Thank you guys again so much for watching, and have a good day.